Hello everybody and welcome once again here to IndySportsCrew.com. I'm the founder of the site, Thad Van Devener. Today I want to take a look at some college basketball as this week and this weekend really marks the midway point in the conference schedule for most teams across the country and most importantly to us across the state of Indiana. I want to start in the Big Ten. I'm going to go ahead and start with the Indiana Hoosiers, who are coming off of a loss at Wisconsin, a place they haven't won at since 1998. The Kohl Center, since it's been built, since it's been erected, has been a terrible place to play for most Big Ten opponents. The Badgers have only lost 14 games at home since it was built. But the Hoosiers, in another tight game, got beat 57-50 at Wisconsin. Currently, they're 16-5 overall, but just 4-5 in the conference as they've played their first 9 games of conference play. And they're sitting in their mid-pack in the Big Ten. You'd like to say that they should probably have a winning record in conference, but the big problem is right now that they're not able to close out the tight games in conference and they're not able to get a big win on the road. And the biggest reason for that, for me, is that even if they have a great defensive stand on a series like they did against Wisconsin, where they would play great defense and run the shot clock down, Wisconsin would shoot the ball, and IU is not able to get that big defensive rebound that they need. And Wisconsin on several different occasions got an offensive rebound, and that resulted in either a basket for them or they get to the free throw line to get some easy points. So that's the biggest key, as IU needs to learn how to win on the road underneath Coach Tom Crean and get that moving. I want to switch now to Purdue, who's kind of been going the other way, but not on the road at home. They've lost 2 out of 3 of their last home games at Mackey Arena, which is a very odd thing. It's a great home court advantage for the Boilers up there. And one thing that we've been consistent in saying this year, and this has been kind of a sticking point, I guess, for Purdue, is that consistent second scorer hasn't always been there. Now, it's been there. It was there at the beginning of the conference with DJ Bird or Kelsey Barlow. Of late at home, they've been getting terrible starts. They've dug themselves a hole, and they're not able to get out of that hole. And that second scorer to go along with Robbie Hummel hasn't been there. Now, this weekend, they have a game at Northwestern. That's going to mark their 9th conference game. So that's a tough place to play. Northwestern took down Michigan State at home earlier this season, and they got John Scherna, who right now is probably in that mix for Conference Player of the Year. So it's going to be a tough game, but if the Boilers want to stay on track and hope to move up in that 4th, maybe even 3rd place range in the conference, they need to get that win on the road. Want to move now to Notre Dame there in the Big East. Notre Dame, after Abromaitis went down, they kind of went through a lull. That's when IU played them in the Crossroads Classic in Indianapolis. And, they were trying to find themselves. Well, now they've found themselves. They have their identity, and it is defense, and it is grinding the game out. Similar to what Wisconsin's going to do, just like we saw against Indiana this week. Notre Dame's going to make you play defense for 35 seconds now, and they're going to get good shots, and they're starting to make a lot of 3 balls with Atkins, Grant, Dragovic, the kid who is just a pure shooter, and Jack Cooley lately, like I said in the podcast earlier this week, has been in beast mode. The Luka-like himself has been dominating down low, and he's just physically stronger than almost everyone he matches up with in the Big East, and he's showing it, and he's almost a double-double machine at this point. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish beat number 1 Syracuse last week at the Joy Center. That was huge for them as they move forward. They're 5-3 in the Big East right now, and they have a big game at Connecticut, at UConn this weekend. UConn beat them at home, so we'll see if the Irish are able to turn the tables on them and get that big win there in Connecticut. Next 2 teams I want to touch on, I want to move to the Horizon League action. Butler and Valparaiso. They're travel partners in the league, in the Horizon League. I don't know if you guys knew that. Most Horizon League games are either Thursday, Saturday, Thursday, Sunday. Sometimes they're Friday, Sunday. And so you have a travel partner and you go on the road. Right now, both of these teams are in Wisconsin. They both took hard losses on Thursday night. Start first with Butler, who sits at 12-10, 6-4 in the conference. That was a kind of a big loss for them. That was a big chance for Butler to make a statement and say, hey, we're back in the running for the league title right now. Got beat at Milwaukee, and then they go to Green Bay now next. And that's a game that if you're Butler and you want to stay in that mix, you basically have to win this game. You can't drop to 6-5. That would drop you 2.5 games out of first place. in the conference, and that might just be too big of a mountain to climb with the number of games being limited to you. Valpo, on the other hand, in a game that they could have won to push themselves into a tie for first place in the conference, got beat at Green Bay, and they kind of got handled, got beat by 15 points. So now at Milwaukee, who is a very, very good team, Coach Jeter up there can really coach the Panthers, and he has been for several years. So this is a big game for Valpo. Kind of going off of what Koziak had, Chris Koziak, fellow crew member, had in his blog post, is that he thinks that Brokoff, the kid for Valpo, is going to go off and get things going on the right track for Bryce Drew's Crusaders, and I think he's right. I think Valpo regroups and they get this huge win on the road. Not only is it a big win on the road, it's a big win against Milwaukee, one of those top-tier teams that you're fighting for the league conference title for. So we'll get to that. And then the last team I want to touch on today in the Missouri Valley is Indiana State. Indiana State's a team that we were high on at the beginning of the year, and we were high on them as they played great in the non-conference, played well in the Old Spice Classic in Orlando, and got that big win at Vanderbilt earlier in the year down in Nashville. Since then, it looked like they were in free fall mode. They were kind of in that slump, I guess you could say, and they could not get enough offense going to win any games. But they got a big win this week at home against Northern Iowa, which is a very veteran, very good team. Ben Jacobson does a great job of coaching them, as we've seen in the tournament a couple years ago against Kansas, and that was a big win. And we'll see if Indiana State and Coach Lansing can take that and move on as they go to Evansville, another state school, where Evansville is even all the way across the board, 10-10 overall, 5-5 in the conference. So it's a big game for both of them. Indiana State's trying to get back on that momentum as they're at 12-9, and they're actually only 3-7 in conference. As you can tell, they've been struggling pretty badly since that great start of the season. So we'll see who can get out of that game. It's a big game for either one of them. Indiana State try to build their way back up because they want to avoid that play-in game in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. Evansville trying to keep pace and trying to move up. You know, right now it's Creighton and Wichita State are the top two teams in the conference. Everyone else is going to be battling for third, and Evansville seriously has a shot at getting to that third spot. We'll take a look at it as we move along. I think at the end of the month I'll do another refresher of a blog post like I did to start the new year for all the college basketball teams in the state, but we wanted to touch base with you here at midway point in the conference season, and you know what that means. If it's midway to the conference season, that means coming up very shortly it's going to be conference tournament time and then NCAA tournament time, which March, in my opinion, is the greatest time of the year because I love me some basketball. So thanks for stopping by IndySportsCrew.com, and we'll see you next time.